You bring in your children, he brings in his children. Or even if he doesn't have, the children who have come, this family becomes a blended family because you'll bear your own children, the two of you. But then there's this other child who is part of this family, or these other children who are part of this family. That is what we call blended family. And today there is plenty of that. Who can bear witness? Plenty of that, even in the church. And they come with the emotional issues. Every family has its own dynamics. And these are the dynamics we are finding in the church. These are the dynamics we are finding in our society. These are the dynamics we are finding in the country and in the institutions. And you cannot separate me from my family, isn't it? Because there are things I bring from the family to the workplace. There are things I bring from the family to the church. And they will affect how I relate with others in the church. So that's why we have to think family is the foundation. It is a unit that is very, very significant. We have single parents where a woman or a man is bringing up their children alone, even if they are adopted or blood. It is a single family. You can also choose to belong to a family based on the closeness that you have. You have this friend of yours you grew with, and you have kind of decided, no, you are family, and you have brought them into this family. It is you have chosen to have that as a family, though not adopted. And of course, we have adoptive families. All these are types of families, and they have characteristics. There is connection in that family, a sense of belonging, a value of being in this. There is support, emotional support, financial support, physical support. That's why when there is a wound within the family, it pains a lot because it goes beyond just, I believe we are above 20 here, isn't it? It goes beyond sex and sexuality. It's not about that. There are many things. That's why you find, even in a relationship, people are struggling. And the other person is asking, na nini unakaa hapo ukifanya? Ni nini inakuweka kwa hiyo jamii? Unateseka? Nini inakuweka hapo? The others cannot see. Because there is something that is pulling you into that relationship. Much as your brothers and sisters are saying, apana, rundi. Your parents even are calling you and saying, apana, rundi. But you are saying, I am here. Is it not happening? Violence is happening. But people are wondering, where are you not living? There is a lot in terms of connection. There is love, unconditional care and affection. Of course, it may vary from time to time. Love can fluctuate. Relationship can fluctuate, but it doesn't mean it is not there. Remember, the part of the brain that controls love is the same part of brain that controls love for everything. Love for substances, love for nature, love, it's just the same part of the brain. And that's why we need to be able to understand. There is growth, is also a characteristics. And it's about relationships with love, support, commitment, that we celebrate the successes together and the failures together. What do we mean by emotional support? Emotional support is that act of providing understanding, empathy, care, reassurance to someone during stress, uncertainty, during emotional challenge, during good times, and during bad times. It is that act of making somebody feel they are valued, they are loved, they are cared for, they are understood. That is the emotional support. It can come from family, it can come from friend, it can come from church, it can come from a profession. That is emotional support. What are the key elements of emotional support? It includes active listening. Listening that goes beyond using your ears. Listening that is non-judgmental. Whereby, this person, you know their flaws, you know their character, but you can still give them attention without judging them. They are telling you that huyu ni mlevi. But you see beyond that ulevi. Because it's not the ulevi, it's the person, isn't it? You are being non-judgmental. You are loving this person as they are, as human being, without minding. It is about the tone, the attention, the body language. When you listen attentively, you listen to what you are seeing. It's not about what Mr. Maingi is saying. What can I see about what he is saying? When I'm conversing with him, when you are conversing with your spouse or your children, as they are talking, you are looking at their emotions. You are looking at the behavior of the body. You are picking the tone. Because you'll hear, na umenijibu aje. Si amekunjibu na maneno. Lakini utasikia, na umenijibu aje. What does that mean? That I have heard beyond the words. I heard the tone of that voice. I heard the harshness in the one that you are saying love, but there was no love communicated. You are saying you love, but when I look at your face, I don't see it. You are saying I don't have, but when I see the behavior around you as a spouse, wewe umesema mimi hapana. Hata sina pesa ya kuwafanyia nini, hii month mtaishi, hivyo sitafanya hivyo. Mtoto amekuja akasema daddy, oh we need this, I need this. Naambia hapana, mimi sina pesa. Maybe you don't have the money, but listen to the tone of, and the attention you give this person when you are telling them. It is very important. It's very important to be able to feel the person. So it goes beyond the tone. Active listening, empathy. Put yourself in the shoe of this person. As you are making demand, as they are asking, where are they? What do they feel? What you said, what does it make them feel? What value do you leave? What tastes do you leave in their mouth by the way you treated them? Because oftentimes, it's not about what you did, but how you did it. Isn't it? It's not what you did, but how you made me feel by what you did. How do we validate our emotions? How are we dismissing one another? This is about some of the elements of emotional encouragement and reassurance. Irrespective of the challenges, you can see positive reinforcement. You can see that this person, yes, it is hard, but he still keeps on telling us all is well. He is making efforts. She is making efforts to love you despite the challenges that you have. It is about companionship. It is about practical assistance. You agreed that you take this role, I'll take this role in the family. You are the one paying the bills, you are the one doing, you are the one doing. But it comes a time that you are, as the wife, maybe your pay slip or your resources improve more than his. Do you have to stick to the regulation that you said? Do you have to? In case his resources go down, does that break that family? Things can change. You can have practical assistance. Yes, you are the man, Africanly speaking. Maybe your father didn't go to the kitchen. But now here she is not well. Will she crawl to the kitchen to cook for you? Eh? Love. So emotional bonds strengthen, they enhance communication, they create a safe space. Somebody feels this is safe, irrespective of what is happening in the world. Maybe we put him through a lot of challenges in Met. But he knew in his wife there is safety. Kikiumana huko, akikuja njioni anajua mimi nakimbia wapi? Nyumbani. Haijalishi nyinyi mmesema nini huko. Hizo barua mmeandika, hiyo maneno mbozi yake alimpigia kelele. But he will get back to the wife and you say, what? You know what? Aki leo nimefanyiwa sijui nini. He feels safe. He feels that is a safe place. What are we doing at family level? To an extent that somebody job ikifika 5 anatafuta kitu ingine ya kufanya. Watu wameregister shule. Akitoka job anaenda class mpaka 10. Ndiye akuje nyumbani. Sasa ingine sio kwa sababu tunatafuta hiyo masomo sana. Because we have to be away from this space. We have to look at the roots. If the roots are strong, irrespective of the distance, irrespective of the challenge, we will still hold firm as a family, isn't it? Emotional support is one of the best feelings in the world. It's where you are hugging a person and they can feel more love in that hug. They know irrespective of this, I am valued. Remember the Bible tells us two cannot walk together except they be agreed. And this agreement has to be a deep agreement. It's not an agreement in the surface. It has to be a deep agreement where we agree in turbulence and in goodness, and where we agree not because we have money, where we agree because we value one another. Today, we have a society that pushes men to a lot of extreme emotional instability. They play a very significant role. But some of the societal norms, some of the expectation on our men, and even the biological differences between them and women, at times make them go through a lot of emotional challenges. And that's why they need to be supported. That's why they need to be understood. That's why we need to break those barriers so that we can have stable families. You'll find a man going through a challenge and will not talk to anybody. Instead, he will go and drown it in a bar, isn't it? Wanaume mkipatana ni wangapi wanaweza share na mwenzake zile vitu anapitia? Mimi by the time I meet with this lady here, 10 minutes ikiisha, nitakuwa nishajua bwanake, amejua bwanangu, amejua njana hakukuliwa kwangu, amejua, and that's how we thrive. I hope men we can be able to engage to that level. Even if we are not engaging with other men, we can create those bonds within our families, that there is nothing you cannot tell her. Whatever is happening, she is your support mechanism. How many times do we find men crying? Mwanamke akilia, everybody is there. But mwanaume umpate analia, wewe bwana, ni nini unatusumbua? What is your problem? So wanaenda kulilia kwa choo. Anameza machozi. It is hurting. Our men are hurting, our boys are hurting, because their cry is not being heard. They are crying and nobody is listening to that cry. And that's why we're having a lot of challenges in our society. There is that fear of being perceived as weak and unmanly. And it deters them from even seeking mental health support. At times, a man is thought to be weak because he is displaying his emotions. We have to change this. And that's why they are sliding into depression. That's why you will be with a man today, tomorrow you hear he died by suicide. Then you're asking, nasi tulikuwa naye kanisani. What happened? Remember? What happened? We were with him yesterday. Why didn't he tell us? But a woman will even be talking, hata mimi leo natafuta kamba. By the same anasema anatafuta kamba kuna mama mwingine amesikia pale anasema aya na mama Njoni anasema nini? Hebu tuendeni wa mama tukasikize hii story. Tunamsaidia. Hiyo story But men, we need to change. We need to change so that we can have a better. So the unrealistic expectations at times is the root of the attic that we are going through emotionally, even at home. So that you find the man as the head of the family. Kichwa inaenda hivi, miguu inaenda hivi. Can you see this picture? That's why we are having challenges. Kichwa iko huku, lakini miguu yake iko. Can you imagine what is happening in that home? What is happening in that church? What is happening in that country when this is the scenario? So, and that's why we have to talk about mental health, because it's a state of well-being. It is a state of well-being, and a state that can fluctuate from one extreme to another. A state where, irrespective of the conflicts and the challenges that we are going through, you can be able to cope with the normal stresses of life and still contribute to your society, contribute to the church, contribute to the family, and still be able to achieve your targets. It's about our thoughts, it's about our emotions, it's about our behavior. What are you thinking? What does this then make you feel? And then what does it make you do? How does it make you relate with other people? A child fails in exam, a child becomes wayward. And you are telling yourself, huyu mtoto ananidharau. Ama ni kwa sababu sikulipa school fees. Ama ni kwa sababu mimi sio baba yake, biologically, huyu mtoto ananidharau. When you put that in your mind, that is your thought. You start feeling sad. Anger comes in. You start feeling ashamed. It's because. So you start maltreating that child because of what you thought, what you felt, and therefore how you behave. And the relationship between you and that child, and maybe the mother and the other children, gets messed up. So it's about what you think, what you feel, and therefore how you behave, and how does it affect our relationship. And that's why some of these emotions, we need to be aware of them. How can we be able to control our ego? How can we be able to look at emotions of envy, anger, ignorance, fear that are happening in the midst of us, so that then we can strengthen our relationship because mental health is very complex. We have 200 plus mental disorders. Sio kama malaria, tunajua malaria moja. We have so many mental disorders. And that's why at times even stigma surrounds it. Even lack of proper diagnosis happens. You remember a study that was done in Kenya in 2019 that told us that 25% of the people who are going to our hospitals on a daily basis have a mental disorder that has not been diagnosed. So wanaenda pale kuchukua dawa ya mgongo, muscles, migraine, macho yangu ione, sijui nini. Lakini the cause of that has nothing to do with a bacteria or a virus or any pathogen. It is a mental health issue that is manifesting in those physical manifestations. So you take Panadol, you take diabetic blood, and whatever, you take whichever drug, it will not cure. Because you are treating the wrong thing. 40% of the people in our inpatients have mental disorders that have not been diagnosed. So ako pale anandungwa shindano, na andungu shindano ile ugonjwa ako nayo. Kwa hivyo haponi. Tunaelewa? So we need to be able to take this issue of mental health seriously. And unfortunately, the risk factors are many. The current situation economically, drastic changes in life, accumulation of daily hassles, Sio nyumba imelipwa, pasta kanisa watu wametoroka, watu wanapigana kanisani, sijui nilikuwa nimepanga hii kanisa by December itakuwa imejaa, unang'ang'ana unapata bando watu hawakuji. You know? Social isolation, loneliness that at times is happening, conflict in the family and the society, violence at the whatever type of violence, physical, emotional, psychological, it's all contributing to mental health issues. And therefore we need to think beyond the biological causes like genealogical disposition, age, nutritional and disability. There are other social factors and psychological factors that we need to think about. And that's why we need to consider how then can we promote our mental well-being. We need to boost our self-esteem. We need to value ourselves. You look at you and put value on you, irrespective of your age. Kitu kikidhamini unakitunza, si ni ukweli? Unatunza kitu kulingana na dhamana ile unakipea. Kwa hivyo wewe mwenyewe ukijiangalia ama uangalie huyo mtu kwa jamii yako, uweke value on them. You will treat them differently because you put value on them, isn't it? Encourage yourself, motivate yourself irrespective of what is happening. Remember, issues mental health. Even God himself says, without your mind, I can do nothing, isn't it? Philemon 1:14. Without your mind, I can do nothing. So if you have to take care of your mind, you are actually doing the work of God. You need to foster emotional stability. Emotional stability or support will help foster stability. It will create a sense of comfort. It will reduce feelings of loneliness and isolation. It nurtures and balances our lives at an individual level. At a family level, it strengthens our relationships. When somebody knows that you care for them, when a child knows that daddy, hata kikiumana huko nje, hata nikikuja na madhi nimeanguka, hata akiniambia kweli umeanguka hiyo hesabu. You know, this guy is a mathematician. Labda watoto wameanguka hesabu. You still are able to separate mathematics from this child, isn't it? Because she is not mathematics. She is your daughter at the end of the day. You need to be able to separate that, what she has done out there and herself, so that you put value, you see the human in her, your spouse. He is drinking, yes. Ni mlevi, umemweka hiyo manjina ameitwa na kila mtu. Ni ulevi anatia. Pombe, yeye ndio pangi, si ndio? Yeye ni mtu. Ukaweka dhamana kwa hiyo hutu ya huyo mtu, utamuonyesha upendo. Na itakuwa hata yeye atasikia ana haja ya kuishi. Lakini kama kila mtu you are stigmatizing them, you are hating them because of the things that they are going through. At the family, if we emotionally support one another, it enhances team spirit. It strengthens the family dynamic. The children can see daddy, alikuanga analipa rent lakini sasa naona inamsumbua. Mtoto anasema, daddy, hata usimind. Wewe, mimi nitashughulikia hiyo. Unaona anakuja anakuletea ka shopping, isn't it? Because they feel this is where I belong. But when they feel devalued, when they feel they are not needed, atakulia pesa yake huko Mombasa, Kisumu, anaenda nje na wenzake, na hapo kwa nyumba unakaa na njaa. Kwa sababu they don't feel they belong. So when we build our emotional support, it helps have a shared understanding. It builds resilience. Hata kukiwa na turbulence, tunajua kweli ni kurafu. Saa hii mambo ni ngumu. Lakini bado kwa familia tuko pamoja. We are united irrespective of this because it builds resilience. Daddy can actually tell us, hii ni kamunda, tunapitia tu. Mama akiongea na watoto anawaambia, just relax. See, daddy used to bring bread. Do you know he can still bring bread again? Do you know things can change? So it imbues resilience and it reduces, and of course, it has the ripple effect to the society. It has the ripple effect to the church. Familia nyingi kwa kanisa sikiwa siko stable, kanisa itasimama. Lakini tukiwa na familia mingi siko na shinda, kanisa pia itatingi. There is a ripple effect. When you are emotionally stable, when the family is emotionally stable, there is a ripple effect to the society, to humanity, to our country as well. And I would urge us to believe in this man. When there was a challenge in that Cana of Galilee wedding, you remember? And shame was almost coming up upon the couple because wine was part of celebration. Lakini imeisha. The bridegroom angetoka huko nje ambie watu, kimeumana. Sasa hii tunakunywa maji kwa sababu. Can you imagine the shame that would have brought? But because of that connection of Mary to that family, she was able to plead with Jesus and tell him, please do something. And it brought joy. The turbulence was covered because there was emotional connection. We want to be able to support one another. We have to believe that we can do. What are some of the practical strategies to strengthen our families and to strengthen our emotional support within the family? We have to foster empathy. Jiweke kwa miguu ya mwenzako. Jiweke kwa miguu ya mwenzako. Vaa ile kiatu amevaa. Feel what they are feeling. Let us have open-ended questions. Usiulize mtu swali yenye atanjibu yes or no. Let them explain themselves. Do you know there's a difference? When you are given an opportunity to express yourself. Sio kuulizwa, leo hakuna maziwa, mimi sina pesa. Is there a relationship that you can actually be able to say, oh, okay, ati hakuna, lakini si kuna chocolate hapo? Do you know it will create a difference than when you are just to and fro. One question inanjibiwa, ingine inanjibiwa, then you are feeling less connected. Let us have empathy. Let us put ourselves in the shoe of the other person. Let us improve communication. Clear communication. Let us reduce misunderstanding. What you are saying, let it be clear. Let your word be in tandem with your actions. Because action will speak louder than word. Our children will do what they see rather than what they hear. Mumesema kwa jamii, mimi pombe, hatutaki pombe kwa hii jamii. Hatutaki sijui kukue hivi. We don't want this kind of behavior. But you and your wife, you are the same people doing the things that you are telling the children not to do. You are the one who will sit down and gossip another family in church. And your children are hearing. And you are telling them, mambo ya chuchuchu kwa hii jamii hatutaki. What will they do? They will do what you are doing, not what you are saying. In the family, if there is something that is not correct, let it be open and discussed with empathy, with understanding. The faces of the family, let us understand where we are per time so that we can improve the way we work with one another. Avoid accusatory language. Wewe kila wakati, hata mnipendi kwa hii jamii. Hata nikifanya nini hata hakuna mtu ananisikilizanga. Avoid accusing. Because at times, you want to make the other person feel guilty. Does it make it better for you? You push them out more when you lay blame on them. You push them out more. Let us stop accusing one another for wrongdoing. Let us challenge the issue that is at hand. Let us not dehumanize one another. Ni mama gani kama wewe mama unajiita mama? Wewe ni mama kweli? What are you doing to that person? You are devaluing them, isn't it? Kama amekosea, ameshautia mtoto and you don't like that, let it be, Mama Njeri, na mbona ukapigia mtoto kelele hivyo? In fact, as you are talking to that child, I saw a lot of pain in your eyes. What was happening? You know, she will open up and you will help her deal with the thing that is happening inside of her. Because what we see manifests is a reflection of what is inside of us. So if we can help us deal with our inside, we will be able to support our families better, isn't it? And we can be able to create the emotional support. And that's why the Bible tells us as parents that we should not provoke our children to hunger, isn't it? The Bible has everything. Don't provoke your children to hunger. Put value in them so that even when you are disciplining them, beat the problem, not the child. Ndio unaona siku hizi mtu anachapa mtoto mpaka anaua. Sio mtoto alikuwa anachapa, labda ni mama yake. Lakini shinda ni mtoto anapigwa. Or he is fighting another man at the office. Na makofi inaangukia mama. So you say gender-based violence. But the violence is coming from the other side. So if we can deal with this person, this you, we will be able to improve the family, we will be able to improve the society. Communication, tell what you are feeling. And let us have that time of me time, yourself. You can be able to listen to you and tell yourself what is happening within you. Because if you can listen to you, and that's why the Bible tells us, love one another as you love yourself, isn't it? So if you don't love you, you cannot love the other person. Let us go back to the Bible. If you don't love you, you cannot love the other person. And if you can see somebody who is self-destroying, how do you expect that person not to destroy you? They are already self-destroying, which means they don't love themselves, isn't it? So how do you expect them to love you? So the first thing is to help this person know themselves, value themselves, love themselves, so that can wrap into their family, isn't it? Communication is very, very key. Be present. Eliminate distraction. At a time when we are addressing something at the family level, let every distraction be kept away. Hiyo sio wakati ya kuwatch TV na mtoto anakuambia mambo yake. Hiyo sio wakati ati uko kwa simu una scroll, uko kwa WhatsApp, and your wife is telling you, sijui mfanyikazi akafanya. Are you listening to what she is saying? Remove all the distraction. And that's why you find, even by the time somebody is discovering they are sick, or you are discovering you are stage 4 of cancer, because you didn't listen to them. You are not observing what is happening in their lives. You didn't notice this man is urinating frequently at night, because you don't care. You are distracted. But if you are alive to this person, you will be able to see that tendency of going to the toilet is not normal. And you can sit him down. Nakojua mara 3-4 usiku. Can we go and see a doctor? But when there's a lot of noise inside of you, you are not able to see what is happening to this woman. You are not able to observe. And therefore, let us remove the distraction. Hizi simu zimekuja kuharibu maisha yetu. Can we keep the phone away and listen to one another? There's a clip I saw one time where the woman was tired of work in the house. And then she decided, when she serves food, she brings on the table, everybody is on phone. Dandy has 4 phones. Every child has a phone. And she is bringing food, and people are serving while on phone. So one day she decides to come with a bow and says everybody to put their phones. Kila mtu weka simu yako hapa. Let's now sit down. When she realized it's not working, akaamua okay, naleta chakula, akaleta kwa mesa. Watu wanakuja, wanafungua mbao, hakuna kitu. She's already communicating. I am tired. Can you keep these phones away and let's concentrate as family? They have become a distraction. You are on pornography and your wife is there. What do you expect to happen? It's becoming a big problem. You are carrying noise from the office to the house. You are not hearing. That's why people are breaking down. Uko na mtu lakini ni shell. It's just a shell of a person in that home. Because they are distracted completely. Every part of their body is elsewhere. It's just the skeleton that is here. Kichwa iko kwa ofisi. Ingine miguu iko Mombasa, nakumbuka vile alikuwa na dance na Kinyi huko. Sijui walienda team building vile alifanywa na mwingine and ako hapo. So it's just a shell that is seated. So they are not even hearing you. And that is what is happening in families. So we need to build our families. We need to strengthen one another. We need to be able to create time. Let us cultivate understanding. In the midst of challenges, seek to clarify what is happening. Imagine your wife doesn't know you have retired and you retired. Yani uliretire na ajui. So yeye anatarajia ile mambo ulikuwa unafanya ufanye. Na kumbe unangoja pensions wa process. So unatoka asubuhi na gazeti yako unaenda Uhuru Park. Thank God these days they have made nice seats there. So you start coming at 5. Ni kama umetoka job. So she expected you to come with mnyama. Where is nyama? Sikelele itatokea. What has happened? Then she will start saying, okay, kumbe ndio nilisikia hata kuna jamii ingine sijui South Sea. Umeenda huko ukaacha chakula huko ukaleta nini? Vita inakuwa? Even when there is no jamii the other side, it will be created. It will be created. Because where has the money gone? How come you can't pay rent? But what is wrong with saying, even preparing in advance? Baba John, unajua mimi na retire next year. So when I retire, what is likely to happen? Or, mshahara yetu imepunguzwa. We used to get something, but now we are not getting. I used to go for trips and make money. Now I'm not going for trips. Let it be clear. Pastor, sandaka imepungua. Ambia mama sandaka imepungua. Ajue ya kuwa ile sukari na saluni alikuwa anaenda sasa yakuna. Aanze kwenda nini? Celebrate diversity in the family. We are different. Let us celebrate diversity in our relationships. Sometimes the things that trap us in the family are very small. We are a whole big family like an elephant. But karati kandogo pale, kenye tumekataa kusikiza ndio kanaleta hii shinda. Tumejifunga na kakitu kandogo tu pale. Lack of communication. Lack of empathy. That is what is causing the problem in this big elephant until it has become immobile. Because of something very small. And it couldn't be in your hand. It may not even be real. Hata siku hizi unaona vile ananijibu. Ni kama kuna mtu, huyo mama, kuna kitu imefanyika sijaelewa. It is happening in your hand. It is not real. Maybe it's menopause she is going through. And you are not able to pick it. And she cannot tell you because you have never listened to her. Hata utaelewa. Menopause wachana na hiyo kelele ya wamama. Kwanza wewe hata nikikuwa ulikuanga tu, hata niliona. Hata baba anko yangu aliniambia ile siku ya harusi. 30 years, 40 years down the line. Unasema ati anko yako alikuambia. Mbona leo unakumbuka? There is something you are not picking. Kuna pahali uli drop the ball. Alafu sasa shinda ni pastor ndiye atakuwa kwa shinda kwa hii church. But remember, the Bible reminds us, behold, I will do a new thing. Can we open our eyes to see the new thing when we start understanding one another? When we start living in love? When we go back to the foundations of the church? Let us practice patience. Be patient with one another. Let us love one another. Let us encourage openness and non-judgmental. Let us use positive reinforcement. I think I meant this. But we have barriers to the well-being because of lack of awareness. At times we are not aware what is happening. Tunasema tu ni dunia imeharibika. Tunasema tu hiyo shinda iko huko nje ndiyo imekuja hapa. Lakini we are not aware. We don't even understand. This could be a mental health issue. We don't understand that Hinge has caught up with this. Tumekuwa wazee. Our memory has gone down. So hata vile alikuanga akikumbuka vitu saa hii akumbuki. The way she used to relate with you, something has changed. Her body has changed. She's not that young girl you met 50 years ago. Please allow this to happen. Understand that. But if you don't understand, it will bring a problem. Unamwangalia hivi unakumbuka 20 years ago, ona vile amechapa. Na wewe mwenyewe? Hii 20 years wewe umekuwa wapi? Understand awareness. Our young people, as they are planning to get married, as we start preparing them, what are we doing to prepare them for relationships? Ndio unaona siku hizi wanafanya harusi kubwa, tunachanga, inakuwa kubwa. Wanaenda na helicopter. After 2 months. What happened? They didn't know. I didn't know myself. He didn't know himself. We came together, watu hawajielewi. Sorry, I think I was just moving away. Thank you, sir. You know, tulikuja pamoja, hatukuelezwa ndoa ni nini. Tulipewa cheti kabla hata ya masomo. Ni shule gani hiyo unapeananga cheti kabla ya masomo, pastor? Hata wewe Bible school wakati ulisoma ulipewa certificate kabla usome. After umesoma, si ndio? Si tusomeshe watoto wetu. Can we make them understand what marriage is? What relationship is? I wish these things could be introduced even at school level so that we can be able to understand ourselves. And that's why psychology is very, very important. Self-awareness. Let's build their strength. The inner man has to be built so that the manifestations of that inner man can be experienced by the people we relate with. Let's education also target mental health issues. At the school level, I wish the educationists can be able to pick that and ensure that there are counselors, there are professionals that are supporting our children, that we are able to pick a challenge. Mtoto alikuwa na perform vizuri. Mtoto alikuwa mtu wa kucheza na wenzake. Lakini of late, because of teenage, they are starting to behave differently. Alafu sasa sisi ndio, wewe bure kabisa. Mse, wewe hata unakaa kama mamako. This child is going through adolescence turbulence. Hata yeye mwenyewe anjielewi. The hormones are misbehaving. Unless you pick that child and help them, you actually lead them to the world. That's why some of them are turning to substance abuse. Because at home level, we are not understanding them. They don't even understand their bodies. Asubuhi anaamuka kichwa ina, yani anasikia tu anatamani vitu hata wewe mwenyewe haelewi. But as a parent, you have passed through there. You remember when you are 15. Maybe you went through the same turbulence. You cannot say, okay. This is what my father told me. Come. Unajua nini? Hii ni muda tu. This is what is happening. But no, as your father, I am here. That's why you find our girls, our boys are being sodomized. And they are not talking to us. Because they cannot trust you as a parent. You have no time for them. Akikuambia hata umsikizi. Before aseme hii, ushamwambia mambo 5. Sasa yeye atakuwa na nani? Nani mchungaji wake? Ni pastor. Wewe ndio mchungaji wa kwanza. Usipomchunga unaletea pastor shinda. Pastor anataka kitu imetengenezwa, aletewe itoe sadaka. Si ndio? Na afanye angrow vizuri. Lakini wewe unamletea yule ameharibika, unafikiria yeye atatengeneza na hata kwake kuna moto. Let us be mindful of what is happening in our children. Let us teach our young girls, our young boys about their bodies. Many of them, especially in this long holiday, we are detaching ourselves. Wae kwa aunti yao. Kapo tunaenda Dar es Salaam. So watoto umepeleka kwa auntia, wakae na their cousins. Their cousins starts having sex with them. Will they tell you? They are not. That girl is in pain. I have dealt with boys who are sodomized by their cousins, and I found them in the rehab. They are in the rehab because they are nursing the pain of sodomy at teenage, and they are in their 25 years, their 25th and 30th year. What happened? Because you collected your children and took to your sister. Wakae na cousin yao. What is happening? Do you know what is happening in that environment? At school level, this emotional violence is happening, and it is hurting our children. Let us listen to them. And somebody said, an old man was telling his grand, never rush to marry someone because you met them in church. Because church is like a hospital. Not all patients are responding to treatment. Pasi. Wewe umesimama hapa unasema yote yule unasema. Na bado utatupata huko nje tukifanya vituko. You think that one hand us very well. Eh? Not all patients in this hospital are responding to treatment. So your partners and faithfulness and spirituality faithfulness and spirituality is not it's not measured by how many times they attend the church. Anaweza keti hapa the whole day pasi anafanya kila kitu. Lakini they have a lot of turbulence in them. Some of us are running to the house of refuge. But this house of refuge, there is a lot of not hearing. We are not picking that this person is coming so that they can be built, so that they can be loved. And we start building them so that they can be better family members. Some religious organizations have separated couples because pastor is interested in his own things, isn't it? Hey, tueni. Mzee anasema hapana, wacha tulipe fees kwanza. Mama anasema hapana, pastor alisema. Mama anachukua fringe analeta kwa pastor kanisani because pastor alisema. What have you done? I have nothing against the church, sir. But I'm saying let us think properly, isn't it? Please let us use this institution of God. Remember the lady who came to offer. Everybody was coming with his offering. Jesus is just watching. And this woman came with a penny. And he said she has given the best. Don't look at our envelope. Please, I pray that your heart can see our heart. So that when Nick here is not able, his tithing goes down, sasa isikuwe ni kitu ya kumtoa kwa chairman. Because you know chairman is also giving him some self-esteem. Sasa ukimtoa kwa chairman, anaanza kuona anakuwa devalued. And he will carry that devalue to the family. Sasa wataanza kuwa anashinda na mama. Huku ndiye alikuwa amepata title, alitoa title ya mate ilitoka. Tulikuwa tunamuita director. Hii hakuna. Sasa amekuja hapa amekuwa chairman. Sasa wewe tithe imeteremka umemtoa chairman umeweka ule anatoa pesa mingi. Umeleta shinda kwa huyu jamaa. Na hata kama utamtoa mwambie ni wakati wa election sasa. Si your term yako umeserve imeisha. Tuelewe. I'm using that as an example. Because they are realities. So as I conclude, let us reflect on the power of emotional support in relationships, because it has the incredible power to change lives and to foster better relationship. After all, the Bible tells us to train up our children in the way that they should go, isn't it? So when we are emotionally connected with them, even when turbulence comes in their adolescence, when they go to the university and they meet crazy people there who are not taken care of, that seed you planted will make them to stand. Even there, when they go wayward, they will still, there is a seed inside of them. When they are having problem, even when they get married, there is a problem, yes. But there is kuna mbegu ulipanda. It could be just a mustard seed, but it will surely grow, isn't it? Let us train them Remember, when the foundation is faulty, what can the righteous do? The Bible says so, isn't it? So let us build this foundation, this family unit. I also urge us to seek counsel. Counseling is available. In this country now, we have a counselors and psychologists board that is regulating all the counselors and the psychologists. Let us also find out who is available to help our people professionally. Let us not rely on experience. Let us rely on professionalism. Because if it is experience, it's not correct. Because your experience is not my experience. You'll be telling me to do what you did when your marriage was having problem. But are we in the same stage of marriage? Did I marry your wife? Is she like my own? You see, there is a difference. But if you can help and take me to a professional will help me to deal with my issue. They will help me professionally, using the right theoretical perspectives and skills to handle these issues. So seek professional support for yourself, for the family, and for the people you relate with, because therapy will boost self-esteem. Therapy will help you cope with the challenges you are going through. Is it old age? You are aging, you are growing old. There are things that are happening. You even yourself don't understand you. But a professional will help you go through that phase of life. Is it bringing up young children? It is not the same as bringing adolescents. It's not the same as bringing when your children are leaving your nest and they have now to start getting married like this. It's a different phase, isn't it? The counselor will help him to deal with this phase. The counselor will help the person who is preparing to have a child to deal with the issue of having a child. Professional support, process trauma. There is a lot of trauma in the society today. We need to be able to support, heal from grief, a lot of loss and grief. We need to be helped to go through that. We can encourage support mechanisms, even at the church, where women can speak to one another, where men can gather and a professional speaks to them, where the young children, the young adolescents can be able to be supported. Those networks are very, very important, so that we remember that emotional support will affect all the areas of your life. Let us build our church and our society for the good of our country, for the good of humanity. And my takeaway is Proverbs 8 and also 9, it's about wisdom. Wisdom is profitable to direct. And the wisdom in this Bible, this big manual, cannot fail. Let's read Proverbs 8, wisdom. I like that chapter 8 and 9. It's about wisdom. Corinthians is about love. 1 Corinthians 13. Let's understand what love is all about. Let us build families where people can feel safe, where our children can be supported. As I finalize, those are my contacts. We can keep this conversation going. I'm on YouTube as the Mental Health Hub. If you go to YouTube and you type the Mental Health Hub by Dr. Pamela, you'll find one with a logo, the green logo. There are a lot of videos that are posted there on mental health. I've told you about ISAP. It's a profession that you can grow in at your whatever age. You can be able to learn a lot of things that will help you to become even a better helper. My contacts are there. We can keep communicating, because when we strengthen ourselves, when we build our families, we can grow old together and still enjoy love and enjoy life and serve God with one understanding and become the role models for the young people to actually look at this family and say, I think I would want, when I'm old, I'll be like my daddy and my mom. They are still enjoying life at old age. You may not be going to dance, but you can take walk together. Eh? Those things that you used to do when you are ukimukatia. Eh? Wakati ulikuwa unamkatia, unajua hii kukatiana yenu sio kama ya hawa vijana siku hizi. Hawa wanakatiana kwa mtandao. Those things that made her attracted to you, still keep doing them, even if in a different way. It will hand long life, it will hand health to us, and make our church a healthy church that can impact society. The Lord bless you, and I hope we can have another time, especially to talk about issues and addiction, because it's hurting our churches, it's hurting our families, it's destroying our nation. Peace in Jesus' name, amen.